We have one goal: to interview the best in sports, to meet the biggest names and find out what makes them tick, and the St. Louis athletes who move the needle with their compelling story. I'm Frank Cusimano, and this is Sports Plus. Storylines of the spring are everywhere in Jupiter, from the outfield competition to the rotation questions, Contreras' arrival, Wainwright's departure, as well as that big-time prospect named Jordan Walker. There's no shortage of intrigue. Here's a taste of life at Cardinals camp.
More than any other year, I would say there's going to be a lot of competition this year. There's a lot of spots that if you take your foot off the pedal, you will get past.
All I can do is play well, and whatever happens, happens. But I am very excited for this opportunity for sure, and I'm going to obviously do my best.
You know, I want to play my part, that's for sure, and I've done everything I can in this offseason to put myself in the best position to do that. You know, I know what I'm capable of. I've shown it before. It's just a matter of being consistent enough.
Last year, I had some of the Cardinals asking me to move over, like to come here, to guys, we want you here, we would love to have you here. Now that Jari is retiring, I was like, okay. I was like something that I keep in my mind. And why the Cardinals fans are gonna love me? Because I always play with my heart, and I think that's something that I left out day in and day out on the field.
This whole season is going to be about enjoying where I'm at, you know, and I won't have any regrets or wish I had done's.
Coming up, Jack Flaherty talks about the most important season of his career and his future with the Cardinals. And we are going back in time to look at the best coach in St. Louis football Cardinals history and the new Hall of Famer, Don Coryell.
I'm confident in what Jack's going to be able to do, and Jack's confident in what he's going to be able to do. You know, he's communicated feeling better than ever. He's healthy. He's in a great place mentally, and he's looking forward to competing, and that's all you can ask for.
We do know who the best players are on the Cardinals roster right now: Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Nobody can dispute that. The more intriguing question is, who's the most important? You could argue Tyler O'Neill, but I'm going with Jack Flaherty. Jack is tonight's Cardinal Buick Sunday conversation. Corey Miller sat down with the right-hander in Jupiter.
Kind of mentioned this at winter warm-up, with just how competitive you are. How hard has it been to not be there in the big moments of these last couple years?
I mean, it sucked watching, you know, the last 3 playoff games we've had, even coming down the stretch. You know, I got to throw more this year in September and whatnot, but watching 3 playoff games, like watching 3 losses, has been awful. That's not something that you want. You want the ball in your hands. You want to be a part of it, and you know, just feeling like all I could do was watch. It's not where you want to be. So I'm planning on being there.
You're always pretty candid with us. Do you go into this year knowing how big a year it is for you and the rest of the trajectory of your career with the contract season, or is it just another year?
You know, you like to think of every year as it's just another year, and to a certain extent, it is. It is just another year. But then to a certain extent, you know, it's last year under contract here. Waino's last year, got a lot of moving pieces with everything going on. So first and foremost comes we just want to win, and everything else will take care of itself. And that's where it is. So if we go out win, we go play the way we should, go out and pitch the way that things should, which is going to lead to winning baseball. Everything else can take care of itself.
Do you still feel like you could be a Cardinal for a long time to come?
I think whatever happens, happens. I wouldn't put it past it. We just go out and, you know, there's no hiding behind what's going on this year. So it's just, yeah.
Big personal year for you, big personal year for this rotation. They didn't bring in anybody from the outside. They're confident in this group. Why are the guys you have in camp the right guys to fill out a 5-man rotation and make it work?
I think we saw it last year in the second half of just the way that guys went out, the way Monty threw, the way Miles and Waino threw all year, the way Matsy looked when he came out of the pen, the way, you know, what we know that I can do, the way Dak has pitched. Like, we got a lot of guys, and we got some young, you know, Neil spot started, or Palante spot started a couple times. Libby came up. You know, Thompson started in the past. Like, we got a lot of guys who can really throw it. And then we got some guys like that are coming up that are also pretty good. But I got a lot of confidence in whatever 5 it is. Like, whoever's taking the mound that day, whoever's on the mound that day, like, we always got a shot to win, no matter who we're going against.
Is it weird to kind of feel like a veteran now? I mean, you are kind of a veteran. You've been here a while. Is that kind of a weird role now?
I wouldn't say kind of. I wouldn't say I am. Like, you look around the club, I've like been here, probably up of one of the longer guys with this team, and being in this organization. Been here for a while, and no, it's not weird. You just embrace the way roles change and the way that guys come to me now to ask me questions, and or you look out for other guys, be like, hey, you're here, there, and just help guys out, whatever it looks like. So you learn from guys like Wayno and the way that they handle it, and the way that he treated me, and the way that he helped me out, and you take that, and when guys come to you, you just do the same thing. You treat them the way that he was.
Kind of led into my next question. Adam's final season, you got kind of emotional talking about him at winter warm-up. Is there even a way to encapsulate in a story or an anecdote just what he's meant to your career?
I think the first sit down we had, which was after I got called up in 17, and we sat down in the clubhouse for 2 hours after the last game of the season. We had been eliminated the day before, and he gave me 2 hours of his time, and I think it was only 2 hours because we got kicked out of the clubhouse. They were like, hey, we're going home. Like, you guys need to get out. And so it was weird for me. I kind of knew some guys on the team, kind of didn't. So, it's different now when the pack-up happens and got a lot of stuff and you come in the next day or so. But I packed all my stuff up that day. And then we sat down and talked for 2 hours, wrote everything down, still have all the notes. And that's who he is, and that's how he's always been. Anytime I have a question or sit down or, got to run something by him, he's there.
Last thing, was wondering if you had any particular thoughts on the rule changes, the pitch clock. I know pitchers always say the hitters are the ones taking all the time to get into the box, and the shift rule. Any particular thoughts on the rule changes?
Everybody's gonna have to make adjustments. Everybody, pitchers, hitters, umpires, fans. The game's going to be very fast, and it's gonna move.
You cannot, in my mind, beat a team that is physically powerful, more powerful than you are, unless you can throw the football, or are damn lucky.
In only his second season as a coach in the pros, Don Coryell perpetrated one of the great turnabouts in football history. Deservedly, he was named Coach of the Year.
So rarely do people live up to their promises from day one. Don Coryell did. Mount Rushmore of the passing game in the NFL, Sid Gilman, Bill Walsh, Andy Reid, and Don Coryell. The Hall of Fame voters finally got it right. The former Big Red coach will be inducted this summer. We're celebrating 30 years of storytelling at 5 on Your Side. And for tonight's Spotlight Story, we go back in time for a look at our town's greatest football coach. Lost in all of the incredibly explosive offensive performances by all of his teams is the essence of this man. Don Coryell, like any great coach in any sport at any time, was a teacher first.
But I think Don Coryell really taught us football, because we would line up and then all of a sudden somebody be going in motion, all of a sudden we'd be in a different formation, then all of a sudden your blocking assignment changed, and he taught us that, and we didn't make mistakes.
That's right.
He was a great teacher.
Yeah, you're right.
And one of the most intense teachers the NFL has ever known.
You'd be way downfield, 50 yards downfield, and you catch a pass down through there, and he'd be so excited he would have already run down the field, and as soon as you're walking back, he says, "That's the way to go. We gotta get these guys. We're gonna get." I said, "Boy, this guy's crazy,
Crazy enough to try and physically break up a fight at training camp between lineman Charlie Davis and Conrad Dobler.
And Don got between them like he was going to hold them apart, and and somebody, I don't know if it was Charlie or Conrad, hit him right in the nose and knocked him down. He lost his legs and it started bleeding and everything. Of course, everybody felt real bad about it.
But most of his teams felt good about themselves, and why not? He resurrected the Cardinals, 31 victories in a 3-year span, even beating the hated Washington Redskins. Coryell was always paranoid Redskin week.
We get on the bus sometimes during practice when they were a week before we were going to play them. We didn't know where we were going. He already had the school picked out to go to. It was a high school or something. We go to that school to work out, and then he'd have people out there, policemen or spotters all around looking to see who was there. They may have found out. He wouldn't tell us, but he and the bus driver were the only ones that knew, I think, where we were going to practice.
Coryell may not have invented the modern offense, but he perfected it. He either made his skilled players Pro Bowlers or Hall of Famers.
You know, when these guys go into the Hall of Fame, like Madden and Joe Gibbs, who do you think they called when they needed help? They called him. And he was kind of what they call the father of the West Coast offense and all that sort of thing. And that's why guys like Gibbs and Madden and these other guys, that's why they're rooting for Don to get into the Hall of Fame, because they know how good he is.
But Coryell was at peace with his life and his accomplishments, and nobody loved his players more.
When we were up in New York and he was talking about John Mendenhall, how great he was, and he's talking to the team. He says, this guy is so great. I've gone to Joe Sullivan and I told him to trade anybody just to get him. And then it was quiet around the locker room or where we were having the meeting, and he said, but I didn't mean any of you guys.
Don Coryell, a man who gave us reason to care about professional football in our town. With editor David Muth, Frank Husam.